Hi, Acadiana. Welcome to Passport Acadiana and another in a series of Icons of Acadiana. And it's my pleasure today to introduce you to Mr. Charlie Monlezun. Charlie is an author, as well as lots of other things, but he wrote a book, Becoming Charlie, dedicating it to his granddaughter. And I want Charlie to tell Acadiana and the world about his life and maybe some of the lessons he's learned along the way. Without any further ado, here's Mr. Charlie Monlezun.
Hello, my name is Charles Monlezun. I'm a retired clinical social worker and public health person. I live in Golden, Colorado. I'm retired from the Lake Charles area where I had a mental health practice for over 30 years. I live in the Rocky Mountains, but I'm visiting the home area of Acadiana. Feels great to be home. Thank you for the opportunity to visit with you. My wife and I had one child, and that child was advancing in her maternal potential years and wasn't not able to get pregnant. She finally was able to get pregnant and approached me and with a blank journal on a pen, and she said, "Dad, please write the stories so this baby will know where her blood has been." So I sat down and I just began writing with no idea it would ever be typed, much less published. It's handwritten on about 800 pages of journals, and then when our daughter read it, she said, "We've got to share this, at least with the family." So we did that, and then my large number of siblings and nieces and nephews got a copy. And when they read it, they said, "We've got to share this with the world." So I reluctantly agreed to that because I'm a private person, but it's a powerful realization that these stories go beyond my little world. And I began to appreciate that they have application and implications for lots of people. So in retirement from my practice, from my mental health practice, I had the luxury of time. And my wife and I have retired and moved to Golden, Colorado, near where our only child lives. And we left Cajun country, but we didn't leave it here. It lives with us in Golden, Colorado. So let me share with you the book. This is the book, Becoming Charlie. It was a name arrived at after consultation with our daughter, and she asked for that title. This is a picture of me on my horse in Lake Arthur, Louisiana as a kid. And the Becoming Charlie was a chosen name, not so much because my nickname is Charlie, but because our granddaughter's name is Charlie, and she's the one who's also becoming. The child's name is Charlie Blue, and Blue is spelled B-L-E-U because my wife's maiden name is LeBleu, and so the child's name is Charlie Blue. And she is now 10 years old and reads the book to me when she comes to spend the night with us. They live in nearby Denver, and it's been quite an interesting run to have this book out there. We're in the second printing, and it has been gratifying, and it's also been fascinating to the various people, known and unknown to me, who have read it. I'll get calls from around the country saying, "What did you mean by such and such?" People I don't know at all. And the beautiful part is that out of this book has come my opportunity to invite and encourage other people to tell their stories to their children and grandchildren, because so many families are one death away from losing a story. And if you don't record it in some fashion, write it, paint it, write a song, do something to pass that on to your children and grandchildren and prodigy. What would you give to sit for 10 minutes with your grandparents right now, who are now deceased. And I didn't want my granddaughter to wish that she had access to me. So this is my way of giving her access. And it's also been this catalyst to other stories that I've written post-publication, and those will never see the light of day publicly, but they're hers. Just like this was never intended to see the light of day. It's only because of the feedback from the family members that was the catalyst to writing. And it's about growing up in the little town of Lake Arthur and starting there, but going on to graduate school, the military. I practiced for 40 plus years in a mental health counseling practice, but I can't talk about any of that. I'm not Dr. Monlezun in this book. I'm Gramps. And I tried to keep that, to wear that hat. So it was a pleasure to write, because I was only writing to her. I didn't know I was writing for anybody outside of that child. So when and if you ever read this, you're somewhat of a voyeur. You're really just peeping in to quote my little world, but it's the little world in which I grew. So at the end of every chapter, there's a little bit of so here's what I learned. And so a few little notes there. I'm not there to preach to this child, but it has been very instructive. Even at 10 years old right now, I can't tell you how gratifying that is. And as much as it was a pain in the butt to write it, it was also a privilege to write it, and to give yourself permission to remember so much of your own life. Once you give yourself permission and you write it for a child, this is not a professional paper. This is not for anyone except one person. And it keeps it simple. I wasn't looking for a better word for this or that. I just let it flow. And that's why it's very organic. So I'm appreciative of this program to present this. I just happened to be in Lafayette at this time, and was invited to present this. So I'm privileged to share it with you. Not because it's about me. It's really about the culture and the time and the place that I evolved out of. That's just my history, but suddenly she absorbs that history. She gets the benefit of that history, warts and all. I didn't hold back. And that's what felt real organic about the book. The point is, the reason I'm telling you about it is not because I wrote it, but because I invite you to think about, what do I want to, if I could write anything or paint a picture or what tangible product can I leave to my children and grandchildren, to the people around me, the neighbors and so forth, the people in my life that I've learned? What have I learned? The beautiful part of this book is that it was written for one child, and yet people from all over the world have read it and gotten back to me and said, your story about such and such reminds me of, and then they tell me their story. And my request to them is, record that story in some fashion for your own progeny. And pass it on. Pass it on. Don't let it die with you. Don't let it die with you. So that would be my request of any person who is so inclined. Take your story and figure a way to leave it, to use it, to use that story. Not let it use you, but you use it to pass it on in a therapeutic, instructional way to the people you love. This is a one-page epilogue at the end of the book, and it reads, well, Charlie Blue, my intention was to tell you some of where I've been and what I've thought about and felt along the way, so that you might ponder where you've been and where you are and where you might go in your own journey. How you doing with that? I started writing them on the evening of my 69th birthday during your 20th week of gestation. Tonight is the eve of my 75th birthday, and on this evening, you enthusiastically told me about your kindergarten classmates. How quickly life happens. But in between, your presence on this earth has been what I needed to reach back into time and to reach down into my piggy banks of memories. I started out by telling you about your family history, and you are already telling me about your dreams. The first time I saw your image on ultrasound, you were sucking your toes. Tonight, you are tying your shoelaces. You have made aging fun. Thank you. But neither one of us is through yet. Let's keep going for as long as we may have each other. You model for me how to be childlike, and I will model for you how to bring your childhood forward into adulthood. Let's continue to show each other how to become Charlie. I have many dreams for you. They mostly include that you live a life full, rich with all the happiness and hardships that life will present to you. And I hope that you are able to share it with people who bring you as much joy as you have brought me, for which I am eternally grateful. I love you, Charlie Blue. Gramps.